Morning, good morning. What's up, folks? Good morning. Happy Thursday to you all. Hope you're doing well. We are watching the market react positively to the inflation rate, which came in slightly low. Actually, wow, month over month negative on the inflation rate, negative 0.1%. And then CPI, that's the big number. Consensus was 3.4, came in at 3.3, so lower there year over year, month over month. Expectations were for a 0.2 increase in inflation, and we only saw a 0.1. So half of the consensus, half the previous reading there, lower on the actual, and actually a month over month negative inflation reading is, yeah, that is exciting news for the market for rate cuts, and we see things launching and pushing here this morning. So no surprises there. Oh, I just realized I don't have my screen sharing going for the Discord folks. Let me get that live for them. However, the one thing I would say here is be cautious, be careful, um, especially jumping into strongly bullish positions at the open. We do a lot of times see this initial move being reversed, but again, that doesn't necessarily mean that will be the case this time. That is a pretty solid reading that we just got there from a economic data standpoint, and certainly should give the Fed, um, you know, the backing and the data and the ammo they need to, um, go ahead and start looking at getting serious about some rate cuts. So I'm just posting this data in the chat because data that just released, so those folks can see it. All right. All right. So as we see things pushing here, we'll have to start looking at setting up some new sets of fib extensions. Before too long, we were starting to run out of the ones that I have in place. We are basing off this 5678 fib extension, pushing higher. And again, I don't really have anything in the mix currently until we get up into the 5724 to 5740 range. So could be a lot, excuse me, of room to move up here before we start to run into any real potential issues from a market standpoint. So all positive news here. Things seem to be, again, excuse me, pushing higher and higher. So congrats to the bulls. They have been on a strong run here over the last several weeks. Bears are looking pretty skinny and weak at the moment. So with that being said, let's get into some trade reviews, some recaps, and then we'll take a look, excuse me, at your new ticker request. I think I might be getting hiccups or something. Wrong time for that to take place, right? So let's get into our trade plan reviews. We looked at Walmart, ARM, and we did look at NVIDIA briefly. I just saw Dr. David putting in a request for NVIDIA for us to do a new analysis on it. I think we're probably at an appropriate spot to do that. So let me go ahead and get NVIDIA queued up. But congrats to everybody who followed the 1:30 call alerts. That is now $7+ in the money if you're still holding. I took my last runner here at this test of 134.90 yesterday, but if you were still holding, you were absolutely crushing. Those things might hit close to 100% or more today. So anyway, let's dig into our recaps. We had again Walmart on the list, and we did have to do some new levels here because Walmart did that stock split. We also had to do some fib extensions based on those new levels because Walmart is technically at all-time highs once you take into consideration that stock split. So we were looking for a break over 70.13. We started to see signs of that taking place Tuesday morning after we worked this plan up. Again, going into the close there yesterday, seeing it breaking above and holding that level as support much better than we saw here on Tuesday, and ultimately is pushing up, hit PT1 here pre-market. So Be ready to start scaling some out. We may not tap PT1 again. This may be, signs of resistance and a potential rejection incoming. So certainly if you're in the Walmart trade plan, make sure that you are scaling some out at open. Move your stops up and be ready for higher price targets, especially with that CPI reading. That could get everything in the market moving to the upside. So keep that in mind and on watch. We also looked at ARM. ARM was a little bit of a interesting one. I was looking at it here actually before we started the podcast. A bit surprised by this. Again, we are using fib extensions. We're in price discovery, so things aren't going to be quite as accurate. It's just interesting to me to see that we now have this strong confluence here. We are seeing good resistance at this entry level, but it seemed like we just kind of blew right through it, and then that didn't mean anything. Dropped right back below and found it as resistance and ultimately rejected back down below the stop loss. So definitely some folks who followed this plan probably got stopped out. I personally did not take the ARM trade or follow this plan, but yeah, don't like to see it when my plans don't work out. Again, not perfect, and I feel like we gave this appropriate room to work out to the upside. Did ultimately come down and hold this key support though at our put entry at 180.02, and again looks like it's trying to break back above, so could certainly see an opportunity to get back any losses on this retest or re-break of the 187.42 entry level, especially now that that has some confluence with it flipping Neptune out of the bearish mode but back into the bullish mode. So all things that could be favorable for this ARM plan to hopefully work out this time versus kind of petering out there after we got what looked like a solid break on the first run through. So anyway, keep ARM on watch. This trade plan is still in effect, I would say. Again, just a little disappointed that that didn't get the continuation we were expecting and looking for, but again, that's why nobody's 100% trader, right? Not every trade plan is going to work out. Some trade plans look like they are exactly the setup you want, and then for whatever reason the plan ultimately gets invalidated. That's just part of the trading game, so we've got to live with it, right? All right, so NVIDIA, again, we've talked about this a couple of times. We did have an active trade on it. That is now, like I said, almost $7 in the money here pre-market, so congrats if you're still holding, and certainly would recommend scaling some out for profit or going ahead and just closing the rest of your positions and looking for a pullback to get back in and continue to ride this wave to the upside. But NVIDIA, strong move ever since we took that entry a couple of days ago. So with that being said, we've got unknown reviews looking for some input on JP Morgan. We can certainly take a look at that. Good morning to everybody. If you haven't chimed in yet, please say good morning. Love to hear from you guys. Hope you're all doing well. Let's get into some new trade plans here. We got plenty of time left to go here before we need to start winding this down and getting ready for market open. So what's up, Navy Plum? Good morning to you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Feel like it's been a while since I've heard from you. All right, let's take a look at JPM. What's up, Susan? Good to see you. What's up, Unknown Reviews? Of course, good to see you here as well. Glad to see you folks have joined us for our last live stream of this week and to kind of watch the CPI fireworks. I do want to check back in. Yeah, this move is holding. So again, that was pretty strong data. Like I said, a lot of times with these data points, when those get released, we see the initial move and then that ultimately gets inversed and continues down in the opposite direction. But that data was very strong this morning, so I'd be very surprised if we saw that typical pump and then quick reversal on this one. All right, so let's take a look at JPM from my homie Unknown Reviews. Just get my chart cleaned up here a little bit, and let's get a better perspective on this. It's clearly been a while since I've looked at JP, and we are at new all-time highs here, so we'll have to start working on some new levels. So let's get to work. All right. Haven't spent a ton of time up in this range, so I'll be very surprised, although that is an interesting level. I don't as far as weekly levels go. But again, I think we're gonna probably not see a whole lot there on the weekly chart just because of how little time JPM is spent up here in this range. I think we do have a daily level confirmed right here. Let's start digging into the 4-hour chart because again, we're going to have to see more candles to be able to find some of these levels that we're going to want to use for our plan. This is a somewhat interesting level for the 4-hour chart. Hey, what's up, Chris? Good morning, brother. Glad to see you here in the mix as always. I don't know if you saw my woe is me post in the Xtrades Discord, but I was man, I was eyeballing those QuantumScape shares really hard yesterday, and I was just like, I'll look at this again later. And I should have just pulled the trigger. I was kind of looking at a lot of things all at once yesterday, though. So, all right, not really seeing much. So let's get in here to the hourly chart. Yeah, it's annoying. You're like, damn it, I was just looking at that, and it gets some catalyst and just pumps its brains out. Damn it, I'd be selling covered calls right now. But that's all good. Part of the game, right? Sometimes there's a lot to look at. You take your eyes off the, or you pick to pursue the wrong thing out of the list of many things that you might be watching. Comes with the territory. Don't let it phase you. All right. And definitely want to know where this actual cash session top is at. So keep an eye on that. All right, let's also set up our fib extensions because we're definitely going to need those. I'm trying to eyeball this trend here a little bit. Might be based off here, but I have a feeling there is a trend and we just haven't retested it. If that's the kind of the base of this move, but we could have a steeper one also. Let's see how this lines up. Yeah, pretty close. All right, so I'm going to take the more extreme of these two trends. We could also, depending on how this set of fib extensions plays out, wind up doing two sets here. But let's see. All right, so that's actually the what I want to see. That is interesting. I think there might be a level there. This looks also pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this. Make a slight adjustment. I would want to see this kind of out of the way for a move to the upside. I don't think that there is a sensible earlier entry here before 209.87. So essentially we're looking for new all-time highs to really go after this JPM trade. Let's put in these fib extensions. What color do I want to use? That's good enough. All right. I think we're going to need any others for now. So if we're looking at this 209.87 as a potential entry, kind of intrigued by this 207.07 level being a potential stop loss, but I think it does seem like a better setup and a smarter risk reward if we use that 207.99 as our stop loss for this. I'm gonna say that ultimately we'll try to shoot for the 0.618, even though we do have the 0.5 in the way. That's the move I'd like to see. Generally, how I set these plans up when we're talking about new all-time highs. So that is our upside trade plan as far as entry, stop loss, and price targets. Let's take a look at, and when is, I was going to say, if it's unknown reviews, earnings are probably around the corner tomorrow, pre-market. So keep that in mind when it comes to swinging any contracts overnight. Let's see, where is our downside entry? Let's look at this a little bit real quick. Yeah, I kind of like a break below this 205.92. I think that also, that would also constitute a break of this steeper trend line that we were tracking for our fib extensions. So I think we do have an entry opportunity there, assuming we see any kind of downside play out. But again, bears are not having a good time right now. Be all that active at the moment, so things could continue to just grind higher. Kind of a tight PT1. Also looks like we're setting up for pretty close to a 1-to-1 risk reward on this downside plan, so keep that in mind. Below that 203.94 though, next targets, yeah, I like this 201.7. And there's an hourly level that I didn't have marked yet, but it is there down here. What is that? 199.96. That'll be our third price target. So this is what the JPM trade plan is going to look like. Let's map this out real quick. All right, whoops. I didn't want to do that. So all right, this is what we're looking at. Let's also, wait a second, why is this not? Okay, well, let's do this. Don't know why that happened. Sometimes trading view is finicky. Just want to make sure indicators aren't showing anything different than what our current plan looks like, or if anything, we get some confluences that validate our plan, which is what I'm seeing here with this NTS key buying pressure very close to that 203.94 first price target. So definitely, I think there's some room there. Also confluence down there with that 333 SMA at PT3. So yeah, if anything, indicators confirmed exactly what we were looking for there on the chart. So let me share this with you guys, and then we'll walk through the plan. What's up, Strife? Good morning, brother. Hope you're doing well. Stream plan. All right, post this over in the options watch list in our Discord. All right, so what are we looking for here on JP Morgan? We're looking for a break over 209.87 to play for continuation to the upside and new all-time highs. That should give us targets at 212.95, 215.08, and 217.85. Make sure that you are giving yourself plenty of time on these contracts. with a stop loss average down at 207.99. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 205.92. That should give us targets at 203.94, 201.87, and 199.96, with a shared stop loss with the upside trade plan there at 207.99. Those are your JPM trade plans, upside, downside. Be ready to get in. And also keep in mind earnings tomorrow pre-market, so be very careful with anything that you think about might be considering swinging overnight. Earnings reports can really upend a good trade plan. So, all right, what other ticker requests do we have this morning? We've got Dr. David in here with NVIDIA. He's looking for continuation on this one, as am I. My shares are definitely loving this move. No regrets about closing all those contracts that we closed on that trade for profit. We stuck to the plan and even got an extended price target up here at 134.90. So, like I said, no regrets. And that CPI reading could have been sell the news. There's all kinds of other reasons that we might have wanted to go ahead and scale out there. So, all right, let's take a look at this guy. Yeah, I did see that on the 15-minute. Does look like we've established a new level here right around that 133.83. We are getting close to current all-time highs here on NVIDIA. Also did have this gap up that's filled, but gap levels are always interesting ones to keep on watch, in my opinion. We've also validated the supply. I need to delete that. We do have another supply zone overhead, but that's a ways away. So the question becomes, I mean, I think there's a possible entry, and it looks like we're rejecting it here a little bit pre-market. The one thing I don't love is this big print above 136.55 that is now being sold off. Don't necessarily just want to pick the pre-market high arbitrarily either. I'm just trying to decide on the entry level here. Again, I don't want us to get kind of drawn in to a potential bull trap. But I think there's a entry and a price target that just are kind of calling out to me over that 136.55 that could take us all the way up to 139.46. Do have a pre-market print up here at 141. Some change. Oh, we actually have the top of that supply zone there that printed slightly higher. So 141.67. So this will be interesting to keep on watch. Let's take a look at getting some fib extensions in place here. I think that's appropriate at this point. Let's see where this move really kind of based off of. I think we're looking at essentially it played off that 119.36. So let's use that to there. And there's a double confluence right there. I like that already. So that would give us some potential targets. Excuse me. All right, those are all we're going to need to map out for now. So I think what we're looking at is a break over this 136.55. Again, I would personally really like to see a break over and a back test don't get caught chasing a breakout, especially on this kind of big multi-day move that Nvidia's already been on. So kind of lots of words of warning and caution there. We do have an existing fib extension up here in the mix at 143.33. Do I have that? Just curious what that was drawn off of, if I can find that quickly. If not, no big deal. Let's take a look, see if it's maybe hidden in there. Yeah. There it is right there. That was the 100% from that set of fib extensions. So I think, yeah, let's not be too greedy. I was thinking about shooting for 145, but with that being the 100% extension, I think we'd be, from that set, I think we'd be remiss if we got too greedy and shot too high here on this Nvidia setup. So, and then I do like this new level that we mentioned earlier. I think was just established here recently. It's a stop loss average down to the downside. That seems like a long wait. I'm looking at 129.77, but kind of wondering if we maybe have an earlier opportunity somewhere in here. I think we do. It's going to be off this 132.28 level. I think it also makes sense to keep a tight stop on this plan, so we'll use that 133.83 that we've got for the upside trade plan. Our downside stop. Right? Or do we want to? Yeah, I'm good with that. First price target 129.77. Second target, this is a potential test level. I think it's actually higher. It's right there at 127.65. Second price target. Third target, yeah, I like this 125.5 level. Whoops. There we go. So, this is what our Nvidia plans look like. Downside plan. So again, kind of a tight window, but something that is as bullish as Nvidia is currently. I think having a tight setup for the downside is appropriate. I don't sit there and get kicked in the teeth for too long, knowing that you're going against the trend. All right, so posted that in the YouTube chat, posting it in the options watch list here as well for the Discord folks. There's the video live stream plan. So let's talk through these plans so we are ready to kick ass and take names once again with NVIDIA. So what are we looking for here? We're looking for a confirmed break. And again, even better, I would like to see a breakover and a back test of support of 136.55. That should give us targets at 139.46, 141.67, and potentially to a new all-time high up there at 143.33 with a stop loss average down at 133.83. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 132.28. That should bring targets at 129.77, 127.65, and 125.25, and we're sharing a stop loss average down with that upside trade plan there at 133.83. Those are your NVIDIA plans, regardless of which direction it decides to go. Go forth and conquer on that one as well. All right, what other ticker requests do we have? Let's see, we got through NVIDIA, we got through JPM. Yeah, lots of bag holders in QuantumScape. Yeah, and I could agree, Chris, see it pull back as an opportunity to get in. SPY is something I do every day with the daily SPY plan. It's not really one I think it's appropriate to really kind of dig into it during a live stream. It's also kind of a little bit of a process that I go through. But I think we've got time, and I need one more ticker request. So Discord folks, YouTube folks, other than SPY, if you guys have a ticker request, go ahead and hit me with it. We'll do a trade plan for it here in the next 10 minutes. So we are ready with 3 plans, as well as the daily SPY plan that will get published to the Xtrades Discord before market opens. Susan wants to take a look at crowd. We'll take a look at crowd for you, Susan. I think Susan just subscribed to Neptune, so congrats on that. Susan, let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully I answered the couple that you hit me with last night, but if you have any others, don't hesitate to reach out. Let me know. All right. So yeah, last time I looked at crowd, it was not up in this range. So let's get caught up here. Don't need that, don't need that. Get all these kind of tidied up here. In fact, I think that looks good. We're good to go now. All right. Okay, crowd. This is a IT cybersecurity company, one that I am personally a big fan of. Kind of a smart behavioristic approach to how they are handling potential threats on networks. So definitely a good one to keep on watch. These attacks, especially with the inception of AI, are getting more sophisticated every day. I see it all the time. All right. Let's also mark off this weekly all-time high level there. All right, let's dig into some of these smaller time frames. That'll really start to, I think, show us what we need to see to figure out where our current levels are on crowd. Like that. Interesting level there. Could be something here, actually. All right, let's get into some hourly charts here. Yeah, lots of consolidation, ranging in this 378.97 to the current all-time high. They're at 398.39. This is an interesting level there, 388.32. Let's see if there's anything. No, really seeing much there. Well, crowd may have made a run through this range prior to this, though, didn't it? Not quite. Not quite. Made a push, but not quite that high. So let's take a look at the hourly chart. Because again, we are still in price discovery, so we need kind of as many candles as we could possibly find in this range. That's an interesting gap level there. Haven't really seen it utilized much else, or really anywhere else other than this resistance and then gap. Still an interesting level nonetheless, though. Definitely got that level sitting there. Let's also, I think this was, forgot to change this one for my hourly color. Neptune holding the top here really cleanly, multiple tests and rejections. That will be an interesting level to watch. We also have something sitting, yeah, right about there. 83.25. Okay. So, how do we want to skin this cat? I think we're looking for a break over 378.97. Over that, well, hang on. Kind of changing my mind about this a little bit. Yeah, let's do this instead. Let's look for a break over 383.25. We can then use that 378.97 as our stop loss. I think that'll also allow us to use 1, 2, 3 price targets as far as established levels go. So it looks like a small window if you're really zoomed out like this, but there's actually some pretty decent money to be made on those moves there. I mean, that's a almost $5 move just from 383.25 from the entry to PT1. Downside, I was already looking at this weekly support. If that gives way, we could see some fair value gaps fill in. Like that 373.25. It's a stop loss if we are going to try to play for downside. Now this could, I mean, PT1 could be all the way down at 349.59. This is an interesting rejection in this range, though. I don't think we've ever, we have. Was a little bit of support back here. I don't think we're going to get anything else to work with, though. So, it's pretty limited as far as the testing that we've seen. But I think there is a level that we wouldn't want to ignore right there. So definitely scale out a little bit, move your stops up, but then below 359.85, I think that's where the downside could really open up big time. Down to 349.59, and then there is a level, again, we're kind of filling in the blanks here, right about here, 342, that I would say would make for a smart third price target. All right, so let's get this mapped out here. That for now. Downside. Okay. So here are your CrowdStrike trade plans. Get this posted in our options watch list in the Discord. All right, so what are we looking for here on CrowdStrike? We are looking for a break above 383.25 to play for continuation to the upside, all the way up to 388.32, 392.47, and 398.39. Final price target, current all-time highs, with a stop loss average down at 378.97. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 366.52. That should give us targets at 359.85, 349.59, and 342.05, with a stop loss average down at 373.25. All right, with that, we are about 20 minutes out from the market open, with SPY making these kind of crazy. Well, there we go. We've already seen that pull back and retrace. But with this data being released pre-market and things kind of moving around rapidly, I do want a little bit of extra time to work on that daily SPY plan. That does get posted every day before market open in the options watch list in our Discord. Here's the plan from yesterday. All targets hit and then some, really kind of the last 15 minutes, but we got all three call price targets there. Pretty good. Really was kind of a big move up after we broke over the call entry straight up to PT2. So anyway, I'm going to need a little bit of extra time this morning to get that together to make sure it is as well thought out as I want it to be. So with that, I'm going to thank you guys for joining me again this morning. I hope everybody got something solid from this live stream. Hope you have copied those trade plans, put those levels on your charts, set your alerts, be ready to execute those plans. I've done 90% of the work for you. Now you just have to push the buttons and make the trades. So with that, I want to thank you guys again for joining me. We will be back next Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys with our FOMO live stream catchphrase, which is trade your plans. Wait, that's wrong. Plan your trades, trade your plans. Go out there, get some green. Have a fantastic day. I will see you guys in the chat, and I will see you back here next Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m. Have a fantastic day. I will talk to you all soon. See you then.